Hi everyone, welcome to episode, we're up to 37 of the YarnAdelaide Knits podcast, a mostly knitting podcast, coming to you from the northeastern suburbs of South Adelaide in South Australia, Australia. My name's Nicole and I'll be your host today. I'm an avid knitter, sometimes spinner, sometimes crochet. Yeah, that's about it. And indie dyer of the Colagirl Collective. So in today's episode, I have some finished objects and some works in progress. I've been doing a bit of crocheting, a bit about what I've been up to, some acquisitions, and a bit of a Colagirl Collective shop update that is already in the store. Yeah, happy New Year, happy Christmas to everybody. I hope they enjoyed the break. Things are starting to get back into full swing here. I think the kids have only got another 10 days left of school holidays before they go back to school. This year I will have 2 high school students and one that still has another year before she can start kindy. So yeah, that would be fun. Sorry I didn't get a podcast out before Christmas. I had every intention of doing so. My family, life and family basically got in the way. I had a few, what was it? It's more, I had some opportunity that didn't come through to film a podcast, and yeah, and then we went away for Christmas, which was good. We went off to Sydney, and yeah, then went down to Canberra. So yeah, which was lovely. It was nice to get away. We ended up having Christmas lunch with family at Renmark, which is about 2.5 hours away from here, and then we left there about 2 o'clock in the afternoon and drove to Balranald, which is just over the border into New South Wales, and got there about 5-6 o'clock that night and stayed in a hotel overnight, and then got up early the following morning and made the rest of our way to Sydney, and then spent 2 or 3 days at my auntie's place, and she lives in the out west near Blacktown. Yeah, and we were going to stay there another night and come home, start making our way home on New Year's Eve, but I think, what was it? What did we end up doing? We ended up staying 2 nights. So, and every year in between Christmas and New Year, I never know what the date is or what the day is. It's just, there's a week. Yeah, so we ended up, one of the days that we were at my auntie's place, it was going to get really hot, and her house is full of lots of little trinkets and she had lots of little Christmas decorations, and Scarlett got the nickname of Hurricane over the Christmas period, and it was going to be really, really hot one day, and it was like, I think it was going to be about 36, which is about 100 in the old Fahrenheit scale, out there, and that would mean that it wasn't a day to go out doing anything, and that would mean that Scarlett would have to be cooped up inside, and that was going to send her mother and father absolutely bonkers trying to run around, and everybody else bonkers from it. So we decided to, there's something that going to the Canberra and seeing the War Memorial was always something that my husband Justin wanted to do, and I was quite interested in doing, as he has an uncle. He's got plenty of family that fought in World War II and World War One. He can trace back uncles and what have you. So we thought we'd go there and have a look at the what was it, the Wall of Remembrance, and find his relatives. And yeah, the War Memorial was quite interesting, and then of course you had to do the tour. we ended up doing the roundabout around Parliament House as well, and that was interesting to see that. And yeah, we did a few. We went and had a look. We went to the Sydney Harbour. What did we want to do? We went to Circular Quay, caught the ferry from Manly to Circular Quay, and we were going to go to the aquarium, but the aquarium was ridiculously priced and ridiculously busy, and it was quite humid and hot, and there was ridiculous queues, so we didn't go there. What else? We ended up going to Luna Park because Elijah wanted to go to a Luna Park, and he had a few rides there, and that was fun for him. But yeah, excuse me, I got a cold when I was away and still got that congestion. So yeah, it was nice to get away, but with all the travelling and the heat and what have you, I think it took us 2 or 3 days to get over the holiday, the week away. So yeah, which was, yeah, I started to feel my age. I tried to do this podcast on Monday, but it didn't happen. And as it is, I was trying to get Scarlett to have a sleep, but she doesn't want a bar of it, so she's down in Silas's room, being occupied by him while I film this. So see how we go. So I should get straight into it, pretty much into it. That's enough of me waffling on about what I've been doing. It's been busy and what's the word for it? I don't even know. It's been good, but I've missed doing this and getting out a podcast and not feeling like I've abandoned people. So yeah, let's start with a couple of finished objects, and then what I've got to show you as finished objects, you wouldn't think that I haven't seen. It's something that I hadn't. When did I last podcast? I think it was 21st of November, so it's been a good 6 weeks, almost 7 weeks, and really all I've got to show you in finished projects is 2 pairs of socks. So yeah, so I finished the Mercury Socks by, who does that? I don't think I wrote down this. I think, is it Kim Drotar that does the Mercury Socks? Just having a look at my notes to see whether I've got any. No. Yeah, it's a free pattern on Ravelry, the Mercury Socks. It has a nice little easy to memorise lace pattern on there. Can you see? Yeah. Just simple yarn overs and knit 2 togethers. And they're made out of Rosehip Island. Which yarn is that of hers? I think it might be the Oz Sock, I think. And the colourway is Rosehips in Holland, which I love my pinks and reds, but I've got Dutch heritage, so that's also part of the reason. It's the colour's blowing out because I've got a window just there, so it's not really giving a true. It's a little bit darker than what it's coming up on screen. So yeah, so I can wear them now, except it's too bloody hot to do so. Yeah, I'm inside today, and we got a new lounge last week, so thought I can film in here and out of the heat. I think it's supposed to be 36 or something today here, so it's a bit yucky outside. And then I did I didn't want to do this year I didn't want it to be bogged down by doing a heap of Christmas presents leading up to Christmas. So I was going good, and then I decided to knit Silas's girlfriend a Harry Potter scarf. She is a Ravenclaw, so the pale blue and grey first and second year scarf that I did. I think I showed it in the last podcast. I'll have to have a look at my Instagram to show you the photo because it's since been gifted. But I did a pair of socks for my stepfather, but he got gifted one of them. One of them because we had our Christmas the week before Christmas because we were going away on Christmas Day, and I only got one of them finished, and I think I'd only got down to just turning the turning the heel, so I knit these. Now these are the Regia Pairfect pair yarn that I got in a wool swap by from Justyna. So yeah, so they're knitted up. They're only on my, I need to get a larger size sock blockers, I think. And yeah, he has quite a big foot. So they're on a basic 72 stitch pattern with a 2x2 rib. I did the 2x2 rib in the cuff till it changed colour, and it ended up being about 18 or so row repeats, so it's got a quite good cuff. And since then I've cast on another couple of pairs of socks, and I've wanted to do more rows for the cuff because I'm liking a good cuff now. And yeah, and it's got the heel turn and gusset heel, which I think I prefer myself. I have a high instep and fat ankles, so I think I've figured out doing a longer heel flap and gusset allows for the higher instep, which is good. So yeah, so there's those ones. And I'll quickly show you a photo of my finished Harry Potter scarf that I gifted. It's not mine, I guess. That I gifted Silas's girlfriend. Where is it? Here we go. It's just off my Instagram. And inside you don't get so much glare. So yeah, so that was, I guess, my 3 finished objects. What I didn't finish the Este top for Christmas that I said last podcast that I wanted to do. I don't know why. I think I lost momentum on it. You know, a lot of plain stockinette in black and cotton and bamboo. It's not too bad to knit with, but it's not the nicest. But I did finish the body. Excuse me. But I need to pick up stitches and knit the sleeves and then knit the collar. But that is basically, I think I'm showing you the back. Or am I? Let's see what I can figure out. Because it's a little bit high-low, or is it? No, it's not that. It's high-low. It's not high-low at all. It comes up at the sides. So, yeah. Hopefully I find the momentum and get it done before the end of summer. That's the Este top by Justyna Lorkowska, which that's the picture of it there. It's just got a nice little detail on the shoulders with a bit of lace. Kind of a boxy style short sleeve with saddle shoulders. And I think I lost momentum with it because I cast it on a few other things. Cast on. I will show you. I've got another pair of socks that I started and joined in Danni of Little Bobbin's Christmas Eve cast on. I've done that for the last couple of years now. And I thought, because she has invoked a gorgeous little tradition in the knitting community, and she brought out a pattern to coincide with her tradition that she started, that I would purchase the pattern. And almost finished. So that's the second one, and I've had the first one on DPN just to Kitchener the toe, and just haven't got around to it. But I'll put it on the sock blockers to show it off a bit more. So there are the two. This one's still got a little bit more knitting to do, so I'm still shaping the toe. But this one just needs the toe kitchenered, so it's on a couple of double pointed needles. Gorgeous little trees, and I knit them in my SelfStriping Christmas colourway. Holly Jolly or Jolly Holly? Holly Jolly, I think I called it. Kind of a bit of a vintage red, green and gold. But this one isn't the exact one that I had in the kits, because I played around with creating a thinner stripe. So the gold is only 2 rows, where the other 2 colours are 4 row colour repeat. So I did make this one up specifically for me to do, and then you had the holly, I called the green, as the to do the heels and toes. Could have done the cuffs as well, but I only chose to do the heels and toes. So yeah, they're cute little trees. Quite a simple pattern to do too, and because Danni had done 3 different sizes, what I was saying about my heel before, these are for me. I ended up doing the larger size heel, so rather than picking up the stitches for the medium size, I picked up enough stitches for the heel gusset for the larger size, and did the heel turn on the larger size rather than the medium size, which I did the 64 stitch medium size sock. But because another thing I've also done is gone down to 2.25 needles, where I was using 2.5 needles for my socks, just so it gives it a slightly tighter fabric, and then that way you'll get, or my theory is that getting more wear, having a tighter fabric, so they would wear more. Only because after, what is it, knitting socks for probably 15 or so years now, my first pairs of socks that I've knitted are starting to wear through, so I'm starting to think about getting the longevity out of them. So yeah, and because I'm using a lot more merino in my sock yarn, it's not as hard a wearing as other wool fibres. So that's another thing why I've gone down to a smaller gauge on when I'm knitting socks, to get a tighter fabric and so it would wear better in shoes and what have you. So yeah, so that's an almost finished project. What else can I show you? I'll show you what's behind me. I cast on, I couldn't resist it anymore, and I've always avoided colour work because I've always thought it's given it creates, it's too much brain power, too much brain work, and not meditative. It's not, I thought it wouldn't be relaxing. There's another word for it. But I thought, no, I need to, and all last year I should say, I wanted to do some colour work. Sorry about that noise. Yeah, and wanted to do some colour work, and so I had seen a lot of the Sunset Highways by Catlin Hunter, and I thought, no, I'm going to have a go at that. I'll dye up the yarn for me and I will cast it on. So I cast that on, I think early December. And another thing I've always wanted to do is teach myself continental knitting. So having, I think it's stranded, having working with two colours in the one row, I've had one colour in the right hand and then one colour in the left hand. So, and yeah, so that would teach the continental knitting, and then once it's gone to the main colour, I've kept going with the continental. I must say, I'm not a huge fan of the continental. I'm doing it, but I think I've been doing the throwing English method for 30 odd years. That is muscle memory, and I can do that blindfolded sort of thing, and with the continental I can't. It's something that I have to constantly be looking at, and I can't tune out and just have that movement happening, where the English I know and I can feel where everything is. So yeah, and it's continental knitting is not, well, I'm not finding it very fast anyway, and whoever they are, say that it's a lot quicker. I'm a little bit scared of, I'm hoping that it blocks out okay, but I'm a bit worried about my floats being a bit tight. That's all, my floats on the inside. And they did get more than say 5 stitches in between colour changes. I did sort of weave it through, which that was a bit tedious as well. And I found, because you worry about your floats, your gauge loosens off terribly. So I kind of understand why a lot of seasonal colourwork knitters don't like knitting with superwash, because it doesn't grip into each other and cover up. I suppose that could be a word for it. The variance in gauge working with more than one colour. But I'm sure that naturally sorts itself out as the more you do it. So yeah, me, go hard or go home philosophy, not wanting to start off with something small and work on my colour work techniques before I started something big. But yeah, blocking is your friend, so I'm hoping it all blocks out quite well. The colours that I used, I have them just here. Excuse me. The red is, what's left of it now, is on my Swagman base, Colagirl Collective Swagman base, which is a 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon. It's a lovely soft yarn, which it is a sock yarn, but I think it's nicely suited to being a jumper, a sweater yarn as well, because of the softness of it. And it has a very slight halo compared to my other sock yarn, so it has that beautiful softness to it. That colour is Vampire Apocalypse. It's a little bit washed out, but it's got reds and plums through it. So that's the top part. And then this bit here is one of my probably most popular colourways, and that's Spice Chai, which is a nice speckled brown with some yellows and reds through it. And then something that I've got this colour only a few months ago, and I've been really digging on the mustard chartreusey yellow, and that one's called Lionheart. So it's another speckle that has reds and black through it. Reds and black, or reds and brown, I can't remember. But I thought they all, and then the main colour, which is, I've only wound it into a small ball now because it's still attached, is Blackerty Black. So it's just a tonal black, so it's only just the one colour. So yeah, I haven't alternated skeins, so I just started doing the main colour, and I knew I hadn't wound a second ball, so it just didn't happen. So it'll be interesting. I know I dyed them at the same time, so it'll be interesting to see what happens, whether there is much variance in colour change when I start the new ball. If not, I'll be ripping back and alternating skeins, as what is advised with indie dyed yarn, because there is such variance with the way the yarn and the dye want to play together sometimes. Try and get it as close as possible, but when it's done on different days and what have you, it can be different. I've tried this on and it fits around here and what have you, and I don't mind the look of it either, so who knows, might be the jumper that I go to Mount Pleasant this year with, or who knows, I might even go to Bendigo, don't know yet, see how, it's not July, so see how it pans out. Excuse me, I am also, let's go for another pair of socks. I went and saw Jumanji on Sunday with the kids. No, not with the kids, with Elijah. Scarlett stayed home, and Silas and his girlfriend babysat Scarlett. Silas didn't want to go because they were going to go see it sometime this week with a group of friends. So I started, as you do, I started a plain vanilla sock. I cast on the cuff because it was going to have knit and pearls that I wouldn't be able to feel my way through consistently in the dark. So I did the cuff Sunday morning, and then I did all the knitting part of it while I was in the movie. These socks, I guess they're officially my first ones for the year. I've cast on 72 stitches, so I'm not 100% sure who they're going to be for. They might be for my father-in-law for his birthday next month. They might even be for Justin. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. So this was a Zauberball, I think, that I got from Justyna as well. So I've used both of your sock yarns that you sent me. The other one that you sent me, that's too nice. So it needs more patting. More patting and admiring before I can find the perfect project for it. So yeah, it's got lots of greens in there. So it has bulks of the chartreusey green and then of the teal green, and then there's more of them blended together. It'll be interesting to see how they come out with. And that's living in the bag she sent me as well. And they're on 2.25mm needles on that Addy lace. Needles with a really long cable. I've lost the tag, so I can't tell you exactly which colour it is. And it's living in the bag she sent me as well with the raccoons. And another thing that I've cast on is, or not cast on, I've brought back up. I started this, I think January last year, when all the Northern Hemisphere's in the middle of their winter and they're casting on all the yummy, cozy, comforting projects. The Granny Stripes blanket, which is an Attic 24 pattern. So when I picked this up a week or so ago, and the reason why I also wanted to do this is when I stayed with my auntie and uncle. My uncle crochets and he makes these vintage style cushions and gets just a nice basic square cushion. It's not with some really nice colours, and or just one colour mostly, and then he gets a nice big vintage style jewelled button to put in the centre of them, and he's made them for a lot of his sisters. And yeah, I found, yeah, when I was seeing it I wanted to do some crocheting, so I have been doing a bit since I got back. I made a big magic ball, is that what they call them? Where, because I hate sewing in ends, so I've been doing the spit and rub method, splicing, spit and rub, so they kind of felt in and intertwine. So I did a big ball. It was about yay big, and I'm gradually working my way through it, and it got me to use up a heap of some mini skeins with swaps and stuff that I've done over the last 12 months or so. So yeah, so it's going to be a nice mishmash of colour, and yeah, and that's where I got up to when I started off again. And that was a progress keeper from tomorrow with my last yarn swap. It's quite cute, the balloon. So yeah, I almost have to go do another big ball, big magic ball. I can't remember what they're called. There. So another thing that I've been working on, I volunteered myself to do a test knit for Dominic Trad, and which is for, I did have the photo here for, how am I going to find this? Where's my gallery? There it is. Pressing the buttons, Nicole. Yeah. It's the Potpourri Shawl, which is done in lace weight yarn. It's not released yet, it's just in the test knitting phase. And yeah, I thought I will use my Matilda Lace weight that I sell in the shop. And the colours that I'm using are Aldinga Drop Off and Fairy Garden. So Aldinga Drop Off is a grey, tonal grey and teal, and then the Fairy Garden is a speckled with speckles of the cerise purple, pink, teal, yellow, and I think there's some blue in there as well. So, yeah, so and this is how much I've done. Not a lot. Mind you, I was having a hard time with the lace pattern because I was doing it. I think I found that I can see the repeats a lot better in a graph rather than a written pattern, and I was trying to do it in the written, and it wasn't playing, it wasn't working out for me, and I was pulling it back, and then I think I pulled it back 2 times, and then I decided to count the stitches, and then it yeah, I was out a stitch, so I had to sort that out, and then I went to using the chart, and things flowed a lot more smoothly for me, because it's written and charted, and then it's got a tick list as well, so it's quite thoroughly written out for all sorts of people that like to read or look at patterns differently. So she's trying to cater for everybody, which is awesome. So yeah, so now I'm up to the colour play again with the alternate rows. So yeah. And yeah, I'm doing a few. End up doing about 3 or 4 different rows. 3 or 4, probably a little bit more than that. Do it of an evening because I need to concentrate on it a bit. Being that it's lace weight, it's not. I don't mind knitting with lace weight. It's not my favourite. I wish I liked it more. I get all enthused to do it, and then I get in it, and it's like, yeah, this isn't as gratifying as even working with 4-ply or 8-ply for that matter. Only because it just doesn't grow that more. That the growth of it is, yeah, you're not seeing reward. You bang for your buck, shall I say? But it's coming along, and when it's done, it'd be really nice. I know I cast on the Aldinga wrap by Amber O'Brien early last year, and yeah, that's been flailing in my whips basket. Comes out every so often, but because I'm not getting the growth, it's just not happening for me. And I've always thought I was a what is it, the word for it, progress knitter rather than a project knitter, and I'm finding that I'm somewhere in between. I do like the methodicalness of knitting, but then I still like the reward of finishing something too. So yeah, it's not like I'll just do small projects just so I can see that I've done. I'm quite happy to get bogged down in doing blankets and jumpers and what have you, but yeah, I still like to see growth. What else can I show you? Oh, this. I should have showed you in finished objects. I showed you this one last time. This was a pattern that I've designed. Still hasn't got a name, and the name is just escaping me of what I want to call it, and that's upside down. Yeah, it's just a cow. This is done in a 100% cashmere that Tracy from Spin Weave up in Clare got me to do. She wanted some sample knitters, and I volunteered myself. And yeah, the 100% cashmere is a 5-ply, and I thought, because I designed it, it's nice and cowly, like nice and what's the colour? What's the collar? Cow collar, isn't it? Yeah, which I like. It doesn't sort of choke. It's not up here, so it's nice and hangs down here in the 5-ply. And I guess due to the limpness of the cashmere, it just hasn't got that bounce like merino does. So it's quite lofty around your neck, which is awesome and beautiful and soft. But you can see that that's that size. And then I've also done it in my yarn, which is my little Outback, which is the 100% sustainable Australian merino. So you can see that it's a lot smaller. Now I think it's a lot smaller, and it's not too much, not a huge amount of difference in length. only about an inch, but there's probably a bit more than an inch difference in width. So I'm in a bit of a conundrum writing up the pattern as to, do I give gauge samples on it, because the gauge between the two different yarns, being that they're two different gauges slash plies, make it a bit different. So yeah, I think I might, because Tracy will want to sell the pattern and yarn as a kit, I think I might, for her up in her shop, do the gauge pattern for this her yarn, and then when I sell it on Ravelry, I'll do it as in this one. Just troubleshooting off the cuff. So yeah, that's a basic. I designed it with the adventurous beginner in mind. So someone that's established their knit and purl stitches and is looking for something a little bit more challenging, and to give them a few, to, you know, notch up a few more knitting techniques. So it's got colour changes, it's got purl bumps, and it's got yarn, a simple yarn over knit two together lace through it. So yeah, I'm hoping that will be simple enough for the adventurous beginner, but challenging enough for them to broaden their entourage of their knitting skills. So yeah, so the colours that I used in this are Thumper and Barbie, and yeah, and I don't think it, I think you can see the difference in gauge for the 5-ply to the 4-ply. I think you could probably almost, depending on how much you want it to hang around your neck, you could probably almost do it in 8-ply as well. That's if you wanted to. If you want it a little to hang around your neck a bit more, because I put this one on as well. I'll show you. So yeah, so it still hangs down nicely, but this one's a little bit more relaxed. So yeah. And I keep seeing two new colourways that I did. One was in a sparkle, one's in the little outback, and they look awesome together, so I'll show you a bit later. So yeah, it's at a test knitter slash editor at the moment. My friend, she's a, what is it, she's a stenographer's secretary, so she, the stenographers that do ultrasounds and that sort of thing, she translates their notes. So she's very good with dictation and what have you. So, and how things are worded. So she's my grammar Nazi. Eleanor, hi if you're watching. Yeah, so she's knitting up one for me to see how it words, because there's some wording that I need to elaborate on, but that's alright, we'll move on. I'm digressing a little bit. So yeah, that's yet to be named cow. So what else do I have? Showed you that. My Nelson pullover, I was doing the arm for my husband, and I think I've made mistakes by doing one extra rows in between the cable repeats, and I'm not liking it, so I need to pull it back and start again. So that's been put in the naughty corner, and I figure I'm allowed to do that because he doesn't need it. It's summer here, so he doesn't need it for another few months yet, so come March I might come back out again. Or if I finish something, finish one of my big projects, it might come out again. But then there's three other jumpers that I want to start off this year as well. Speaking of which, did anybody join the Ravelry challenge of your planning of what you're going to do this year with your making. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, it got you to write down what projects you want to do. Let's see if I can. So if you haven't joined Ravelry, I'm Colagirl on Ravelry. You probably find me as Colagirl something or other everywhere. Now, how did I find this? Something challenge. Yeah. It's when you go in the project. So I wrote down what things that I wanted to challenge myself to do this year. So I've written down 20 projects. Some of them I'm cheating a little bit. Some of them are already whips, so it's more about finishing those whips. Like, for instance, my starting point shawl, which is starting point shawl, which I've showed you before. I can't really show you a picture of it at the moment. My Sunset Highway's in there. My Este, the Nelson pullover that is there. And Twas the Night Before Christmas socks, which I've almost finished, is there as well. So I've just added a few extra things to it. A few of them are socks. I want to get so yeah, that's all the list. If you go to your projects and on the right hand side, there you go, you've got something that's just, come on, it's just here, it says challenge. You go in there and then you can go see everything that you've got, and you can put all the things that you plan on knitting. So I plan to knit a few sweaters this year, which I think 2018 is supposed to be the year of the sweater. So yeah, but I don't want to knit too many because we don't have a hugely long winter here in Australia. So I'm not going to knit 10. I knit about, what have I got? 1, 2, there's about 4 or 5 that I want to do. Let's finish the Sunset Highway. I want to do this vague. I want to do the faded cardi, and then there's a new one that I downloaded, which has, I'll show it to you. I have to get it. What's it called again? Because I saw it and it's like, oh, I really like that because it had a bit of cable, had a bit of lace, and I think it had the smallest bit of colour work in it as well. Now let's have a look at patterns. No, I need to look in my library, sorry. Warm You Up, it's called. So yeah, let's see. It's got a nice cowl neck. Can't see it very well. It's going to be difficult. Sometimes tablets are hard to use, being that you keep pressing the buttons to go back and what have you. Warm You Up. It's called by Warm You Up by Regia. That might be the best picture to show you. So it's got cables down the arm, and then it's got a little bit of colour work down the bottom. That's one of them. Yeah, there we go. But I really like that. And it's kind of a bit oversized as well. Simple, bit of simple colour work. Nice. I don't think it's I think it's more of a yoke, then it goes down the arms rather than saddle shoulder as such. And it's got a nice big cow collar, which is I'm a fan of as well. So that one will come on the needles eventually as well. What else do I have to show you? I think I've showed everything of my whips and things. A little bit of reflection of what I achieved in 2017 with finished objects. I ended up knitting 5 shawls, 4 pairs of socks, 1 blanket, a jumper, 2 child's babies jumpers, 3 cows, 1 scarf, 7 beanies, and 2 lots of fingerless gloves. So that was 5, 9, 10, 11, 13, 16, 17, 24, 26 projects. So I've got in that challenge 20 to finish this year, so yeah. Okay, my memory card just got full, so crisis averted. So yeah, what was I saying? Yes, so I finished 26 projects, so which I'm happy with. I only put 20 in the challenge, so see what we come up with. I think, acquisitions. So when I was in Sydney, I had made arrangements with Janine and Deb from Skein Sisters to meet them, as I'm looking to be be one of their monthly sister spotlight indie dyers. And yeah, so I knew we were going over to Sydney, so one thing that the only reason why I was quite happy to go to Sydney as well as see my family, was because I wanted to go to see Skein Sisters. Unfortunately, they were going to be closed at the time that I was going to be, because they were having a few weeks off, being summer. Yeah, sometimes it's not much point. Things can be pretty slow. But they still had to process online orders. So I met up with Janine at Skein Sisters, and yeah, she was processing a few orders, and I wanted to take my wares, my yarns, and what I did, and show them, and wanted to have a bit of a shop. So yeah, so a few of the acquisitions that I got from Skein Sisters. I got myself a capsule magazine, which is it's a capsule volume 1, which is by Michelle Wang. She's a bit of a cabling guru. She loves her cable sweater designs, and she publishes through Brooklyn Tweed, so which is one of the yarns that Skein Sisters sell. So the one that's on the front cover is what I really would love to do. I really want to knit the male version of it for my husband, but he's not that keen on it. I'm sure he will love it once there it is, once I knit it for him, because I think it would be a beautiful and cosy cardi to wear when it's really warm, when it's really cold. Something that, you know, if he doesn't like it to wear out, something to wear around the house. You like his smoking jacket for someone who doesn't smoke anymore. Yeah, so it's got that as well. It's beautiful. So I really like that. I really like the longer version of it, but all that yarn probably weigh about 3 kilos by the time you finish with it. This one, which is the Aspen, which is a really long. I'm getting it in the view. See, that's it full length. It should take you a month of Sundays. No, it wouldn't take you longer than that. But yeah, I think that's quite lovely as well. It's just all that yarn. So yeah, I finally got that, and I've been eyeing it off for since it came out. Excuse me. And I fell down the rabbit hole of Hedgehog fibres and got a couple of skeins of their Twas sock, which is a BFL. So I got Construct, which is a grey that has some speckles of browns and pinks and stuff in there, and a bit of the yellow and gold, and a bit of orange. So Moor chose colours here. There's a lot of speckling there. Moor chose colours that were going to be the colours to work with making multicoloured shawls and stuff. And then I got Artifact as well. So it's got a bit of hot pink and teal and orange. So not overly speckly, but enough to have a bit of interest. So I got 2 skeins of that. Yeah, so it's 80% blue face Leicester, 20% nylon. So it's only 365 metres. 100 grams, so I got those 2. Which I was happy with. And I took my uncle with me, and I introduced him to the dark side of yarn snobbery. of buying some delicious yarns. And he bought some, I got him to buy, he bought some Ren and Ollie and some, I think it might have been some fibre spades. It was a baby alpaca. Because we were looking at the Hedgehog fibre mohair, but none of the colours that they had really went with the Ren and Ollie that he had chosen. So he sort of wanted this sea foamy green, but wanted it in a solid colour, and all the Hedgehog fibre mohair was all speckles, all whites, all really dark colours, and so there was no sort of green, sea foamy greens and stuff. And we got, what did he buy in the speckle? Because he bought a speckled skein of Ren and Ollie. What colour was it called? I can't think of it for the life of me, but yeah. So he's gonna, and he wanted to crochet himself a cushion for on his bed. So yeah. Something I also did as well, part of acquisitions, and because I haven't seen you guys or spoke to you guys for a while, I got purchased some stuff on Black Friday sales back at the end of November, and I got some Lovebird Lane. So I got what's this one called? Prismarine from Julianne's Fine Merino sock. What has she called it? No, it's on a 80% merino, 20% nylon. I thought she called that. It's a Lovebird name anyway. And then I got some of her Fishner DK. So yeah, this one doesn't have. It's Fine Merino sock. This one is a Fisher DK in the Canopy Shadows. So it's got some navies and plums and greens. Nice moody dark colour. So I might make myself one of my beanies in it, in this one. My across the ditch beanie, be nice in that. Should have enough, and then I can get one of the faux pom-poms to put on it. And then I took part in the last round of wool swap. Excuse me. Tamara from Tam's Crafting Knits was my swap partner. Hi Tam. And I got a nice big yummy ball of Bendigo Woolen Mills Luxury 4-ply in the was it called? It's a nice dark maroony colour. So being one of those nice go-to colours to mix with some bright speckly stuff. Something like those two would go nicely together. Oh, they would too. Hello. And even got a bright pink to bring out the bright pinks of the... Wouldn't that'd be awesome. So yeah, I got Bendigo Woolen Mills, and then I got some No Makers in it. I think it was last year's Christmas sock colour. What's it called? House? No, Fruitcake. It's got the reds and the greens. I might save them for maybe next New Year's Eve cast on, because it's a Christmas colourway. Yeah, that's a 75-25 merino nylon. It's quite a fine fingering weight. So yeah. And then I got a bag, which I haven't used it yet because it's been hiding away, ready for me to show you guys. And I might put my sunset pullover in it, because my sunset pullover just sits on my bedside table and it doesn't have a bag. And then I got a DPN cozy from town as well. There it is. It's cool. So I got a few other things in Tam swap, like a thermos mug, which was awesome. It's been getting a workout. So yeah, I think that's everything that I wanted to show you with what's been happening in my knitting life. As Christy Glass says, it's a way of life, and she's absolutely right. So what I will show you now is what is being recently updated in the shop. So when I got back home from my holiday, I was straight into the dye pots and dyed up a few new colourways of my that's going to be fun to get that behind the couch now. Never fear, I have another ball of it. So I dyed up a heap, did some warping and dyed up 4 new colourways of 4 colour change, self-striping. So I can't even remember what I called them. Let's just go pink. I did this one. So 2 tones of pink. One's like a corally pink, and then one's more mauvey pink, and grey with black. So it'll go 1 pink, grey, 1 pink, black. So yeah. So there's that one. Got 2 of those still in the shop. I did the purple, which is 2 tone, the lilac and then the darker purple, the grey and the black. So the grey and black theme. But I've sold out of this. This one's sold, but I'll give it to a guild member next week. Yeah. So I have to dye up more of that. I can't even remember what I called the colours. I've gotten to the point where I've had that many different colourways that I can't remember them anymore. And then I did a teal and minty green with the grey and black. Which this one's quite nice. I quite like this one. Being that I'm more a pink and purple girl. And I did a red as well. The 2 types of red with the grey and the neutral, which is actually a colour. I did dye that colour. It's not just the neutral base. So it's quite creamy. So yeah, so they're the 4 new colours. I have next lot of self-striping socks that I'm going to do will be 3 colours. I've got some warped 3 colour ones that are ready to get in the dye pots again. So then I got back into doing some repeat colourways and then some new colours. So I can't just do the repeats all the time. New colourways. Colour is inspiring and what I want to play with, and I'm still learning how my dyes how my dye colours react to the different fibres, because there's some colours that I will use on non-superwash that are totally different when I dye on superwash yarn. So I bought back, or dyed it on some different bases to be completely honest, some blue jeans work boots. That is on the Swagman base. And then I did a couple of skeins on the Lush 8-ply base, which is the superwash merino. And this is the 8515 superwash merino nylon. So yeah, got couple of different bases in the blue jeans work boots. So you've got your denim blue, your brown boots, and your pinky plum t-shirt. Standard uniform when working with horses. And then I did some more fairy garden. Where's the other? So I did it on, I can't find the other 4th one. No, I didn't sell it. So I did some more fairy garden on the Lush 8-ply, 100% superwash merino, and then 2 more on the Swagman, which is the 8515 sock base. Dyed up some more, brought back in the First Love colourway, which is the light lilac colour on the little Outback. Reason why I called this First Love is lilacs, and I kept thinking lilac, there's like quite gentle lilac purple. Lilacs are the flower that you give to your first love, so hence why it's named First Love, which I thought would be beautiful with blue jeans work boots. So the colours are a bit blown out. If you wanted to do a 2-tone like that, would look lovely. The cow and the blue jeans. So yeah, so they're back in the shop. And a new colourway on the little Outback is Warm Peach, which is it's a peachy brown, but it's a bit tonal because you've got some darker brown through there as well. And that's on the little Outback. And then I had to play with some speckles on the Spirit 4-ply, which is the sparkle base. And that's called Interlude. It's got some pinks and some blues and some browns. It's picked up some, yeah, and a bit of mauve through there as well, which I thought those two, making this cow, would look absolutely amazing. It's taking all my strength not to cast this on myself with my cow. But yeah, they look absolutely divine together. Is that one? And then here's a new colourway on my Dapper, which is the Tweedy base with the Donegal nibs. So it's a it's got some teal green and some olive green in there, and the really dark, like Cadbury light purple through there. So it reminded me, I've called it Heart's Ease, and it reminded me of, I couldn't just call it Pansy, like the purple and green pansy, which has yellow in it as well. But they're also known as Heart's Ease in Japan, I think, and a couple of other countries. But yeah, so that's what I called this colourway. And the lighting is not doing this justice. It's very warm, this colourway. Knitted up in a jumper, I think would look quite interesting. Especially for the purple lover that wants to branch out. So there's two of them. So there, some colours, new colours and some new yarns, new colourways in the shop. Trying to think what else I had to show you. I think that's about it. So thanks everybody for watching, and my battery's about to die, so I will talk to you later. Hopefully it won't be so long before I podcast again. And if you like what you see, please subscribe. Thanks guys. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your knitting. See ya.